Give us a break. Don't try what you're about to see at home.
On this episode of MythBusters, we've got booms and balloons. Adam and Jamie find out if it's possible to do the impossible.
Who's done this before? Nobody!
And make a lead balloon fly.
It's looking good. It's looking good.
Then Carrie, Grant, and Tori tackle a tall tale of TNT and surfing. Can you ride a wave created with explosives? Who are the MythBusters?
Yeehaw!
Adam Savage.
Time for science!
And Jamie Heineman.
Is that beautiful or what?
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
It bleeds!
Let's go! Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Don't give up on me now!
Tori Belleci.
Oh, and that's how we like it.
And Carrie Byron.
Explosives and electricity. Woo!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. First up, it's Up, Up, and Away with Adam and Jamie.
Ta-da!
Something tells me balloon myth?
Absolutely right. It's not only a balloon myth, it's actually also an idiom. Have you ever heard the expression, going down like a lead balloon?
You mean like, that'll never happen?
Yeah, something impossible. The myth is that it is totally impossible to make a balloon, like this one, out of lead.
And so we're gonna build one.
Well, that's the only way to test it is to try.
That's what we do.
To go over like a lead balloon means you've fallen short, gone bust, or just plain failed to get off the ground, which means an airborne lead balloon is an oxymoron. It'll never happen, because lead's defining characteristic is it's heavy, and heavy just doesn't fly, or does it?
You know the envelope of this thing weighs almost 500 pounds?
Yeah, and it's huge. Something tells me we're not gonna make a lead balloon quite that big.
Well, I don't think the goal is to make a balloon that lifts us out of lead. Let's say it's just big enough to lift itself and maybe a little basket.
I'll settle for that.
So will I.
So if Adam and Jamie, with all their build skills and engineering nous, can get a lead balloon to fly, it'll be myth busted. And that's a challenge they just can't resist.
I think the biggest problem we're gonna have making a lead balloon is around the material itself, because, I mean, this balloon is made of fabric that's extremely light and very strong. We're gonna be building a balloon that's very heavy and very weak, so not so easy.
After an uplifting perspective on the myth, it's back to Earth, and specifically M5 to get things rolling. Before they source the all-important lead, they decide to split up and see what they can learn with a stronger and lighter material, aluminum.
My thoughts for doing a small-scale build in aluminum are that I want this thing to look balloon-like. I could just make a tube, I could make a lot of different simple shapes, but I really want it to be as round as possible. So I'm actually going to go for an icosahedron. That's a 20-sided regular solid, and each side is an equilateral triangle.
So Adam is basing his design on one of the 5 platonic solids. The 5 what's-its?
The platonic and Archimedean solids are polygons of regular shapes. Like a cube is one of the regular solids because it's 6 squares.
Typically, while Adam approaches the problem with a little magic, math, and a silly hat, Jamie keeps things simple.
I figure if the simplest possible way of building a balloon is just to put 2 sheets together and seal along the edges, why don't I put 2 sheets together the same way, but start by draping them across a hemisphere, a rigid male mold.
With both designs complete, the guys are ready for the float-off.
Jamie, do you mind if I go first? I'm going to fill my balloon first. Is that okay with you? Is that okay with you? I'd like to fill my balloon first, if that's all right with you.
Okay.
Mickey Mouse's metal balloon is inflated with helium. And what do you know?
Hey, that's almost balloon-like.
Very nice. It's an approximately spherical shape.
It's icosahedral.
Icosahedral.
Yes.
The question now is, how will Jamie's super simple 2-piece compare? After a blast of fast forward, it's inflated, and they're elated.
It's an actual foil balloon.
So the guys have 2 different but successful designs. But they're made of aluminum foil, which is 6 times lighter and much stronger than lead.
Fly!
Next, Carrie, Grant, and Tori mix science with the art of surfing and get an explosive result.
Shaka!
Right here.
How much aloha do you have in that shaka?
So much it's sick.
What are you guys talking about?
There's this viral video making its way around the internet where some renegade surfers are landlocked in a city, but they want to surf.
Yeah, and then they find this canal. They throw in a bunch of dynamite, it explodes and creates a wave that one of the surfers rides.
There's no way that could work. And even if it did, you'd probably be dead, right?
Well, that's what we get to find out. High five.
In this viral video, a team of surfing gorillas are desperate to catch a wave. Their solution? Well, they hold their very own TNT party. And surf's a boo. But were these guys really crazy enough to surf with dynamite, or is this just a cutting-edge commercial?
Okay, so how are we going to test this?
Well, I think first we need some sort of proof of concept, because I don't even know if explosives can set off a wave. I mean, in the movies sometimes you see a big splash, but not necessarily a wave.
Well, that raises another issue, which is the depth. Does it need to be close to the surface or down further to create a wave?
All right, well, why don't we test that by building a big water tank. We'll set off some explosions in it and see if we even create a wave. If we do, then we'll set the explosions at different depths and see if that has an effect on the size of the wave.
Excellent.
So Tori begins tackling this explosive fable by building a water tank in the backyard.
All right, let's fill it up with water.
High explosives can't be used in the parking lot, so Tori turns to an old MythBuster favorite.
Cue dramatic music.
The dry ice soda bottle bomb.
Wow!
And here's Tori with the Big Bang Theory.
All right, this is how you make a dry ice bursty bottle. You take a 2-liter bottle of soda, empty it out, fill it up 3/4 of the way with water, dump in a bunch of dry ice, put the cap back on, and as the dry ice is gassing off, the CO2 gases are building up pressure inside the bottle, and eventually the bottle will rupture, giving you the dry ice burst bottle.
Okay, so we know that this experiment isn't to scale, but what we're after is what happens to the energy of an explosion when it's in water. Does it disturb the surface enough to be considered a wave, or does it all just simply go straight up into the air?
To find out, the team start with the least likely candidate for a surfable wave, a bottle bomb at the bottom of the tank.
Look at the waves. We're getting some swells.
The first test was with the bottle almost to the bottom of the pool. That's the worst case scenario in terms of creating some movement at the surface, because the explosion's got to push all the water above it.
Next, it's a mid-depth detonation.
That was a much bigger wave.
It was a bigger wave, definitely.
And finally, a bottle bomb at the surface.
It definitely made much smaller ripply waves.
So the guys have their proof of concept. An explosion will make waves, and depth is a factor in the size and quality of those waves. And you could say Tori's excited.
Have you lost your damn mind?
So in theory, this might be able to work.
Yeah, but just to clarify, that was not a small scale, just a proof of concept.
Yeah, but we did show that an explosion will cause a wave.
Yeah, but doesn't a wave have to break before you can ride it?
I'm not really sure, so I think we should go and talk to a surfing expert, and we could learn how to surf.
Yeah, because if we make a surfable wave, I want to ride it.
Cowabunga! Let's rip it! Up! Cowabunga!
Life's a beach when you're a MythBuster. I mean, what other job requires you to go surfing for work? And after meeting Heath, their instructor, we learned that surfing lingo is all geek to Grant.
I'm ready to rip it and shred some stuff. Did I say that right?
Joking aside, before surfing with dynamite, the team needs to know they can plain old surf.
Oh, it's cold.
Or, even get into the water.
We're at Cowell's Beach in Santa Cruz, and this is perfect for us. Because as you can see, the waves are tiny, and that's probably what we're going to get from an explosion in the water, are little waves. And not only that, it's perfect for learning how to surf.
Hot air ballooning is the oldest successful flight technology. It dates back to 1763, when the French Montgolfier brothers took to the air. A rich history of refined recreational flying followed. Until heavy metal ballooning, MythBuster style. Adam and Jamie are tackling the myth that it's impossible to make a lead balloon fly. But they began by brainstorming with aluminum.
What do you think? I mean, they both worked.
I think that we're on to something, but I don't think we can make any conclusions until we see the lead foil.
You're right.
So all they need is the lead. Simple, right?
I didn't think the lead foil was going to be the hardest part of this myth, but it was a hassle to find a U.S. supplier.
Hello? Sparken Sie English.
Luckily, Jamie turned up a German maker of lead foils called Epstein. What this may look like is a box full of rolls of foil that weighs about 30 pounds. In fact, this is our lead balloon. Oh, look, it's beautiful.
Beautiful, but very, very fragile.
The problem is this. It just kind of falls apart. It's like, almost like wet toilet paper. There's not going to be any room for error. It has to be done just exactly so, or we're not going to fly.
Now that we've got this foiled, rather than go right to the biggest balloon we can make with it, we're going to try making an interim balloon. This is a scale test, if you will.
The guys go for a super simplistic 2-sheet lead balloon. And one of the first things they learn is the static from the tape is a problem. But Adam's Tash trick solves that.
A little static off, you'll see it drags a little less.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Isn't that cool? There's women out there who are going, oh, I wish I was that piece of tape right now.
You think?
I'm sure of it. Raise your hand. Yeah, you.
Give me a break.
The producers of MythBusters are not responsible for any marital issues resulting from raised arms.
All right, go for it.
It's going up.
Who's done this before? Nobody!
So far, this virgin voyage has been plain sailing.
Dude, it's a lead balloon.
A degree of care during construction.
Ah, I found a tear.
And a few running repairs to seal any small tears, and Adam thinks they have this myth sewn up.
This is my idea of a perfect scale test. Several things are clear to me looking at this. One is we're going to have to go bigger in order to get real buoyancy. And we're going to go as big as we can. Two is, while the material's not as delicate as I had feared, it's still really, really delicate. I mean, tears are forming with just the least provocation, so we're going to have to be very, very careful.
You're going to ruin it, aren't you?
The third thing is, I think we're only going to get one chance to get this right. Like, if big tears start to appear because of the weight of the material, it's going to be nearly impossible to repair them on the fly. So we're just going to have to figure out a way to build this and fill it in a way that it involves the least amount of stress on the material.
3 great points, but surely the main point is it's not yet airborne. And as Jamie explains, that's because it's not big enough yet.
This balloon has too much lead and not enough helium. So we need to go larger, because the larger the balloon becomes, the greater the ratio of helium to lead. It's sort of a funny thing with physics and geometry, but that's the way it works.
Yep, the larger the solid, the greater the volume. That's the helium compared to the surface area, which is the lead foil. So the bigger the balloon, the more buoyancy it's got, and the greater the chance it'll be able to overcome its own weight. This crazy commercial has got Cary, Grant, and Tori thinking. Is it real? Could you really create a surfable wave with dynamite? And if so, would any of the team be able to ride it? A trip to Santa Cruz later, and it's looking good on the surfing front. But what about the safety aspect? If you remember, an underwater pressure wave is fatal to fish.
I killed it!
But what about MythBusters on a surfboard? To find out, Cary has brought in underwater explosive expert Van Romero.
What are the dangers of being in the water when there's an explosion?
Well, when you detonate something underwater, it's much more dangerous than in the air. You're the same density as water. So the energy in the shockwave will easily be transferred from the water into your body. As the shockwave continues to go through your body, it reaches the surface of your lungs. In the inside of your lungs, the density is very low. When that happens, waves start bouncing all over the place, and if your lung is subject to that, it'll start to bleed. So you won't die immediately, but you'll bleed to death in about 24 hours.
Yep, the insurance doesn't cover that, which means they'll need a surfer substitute.
Okay, giant explosion, lethal shockwave. I think this is a job for Buster.
Buster can't even stand up on his own. How's he going to surf?
You know, I don't even think he needs to stand. I tried the Cobra position coming in on a few waves, and that worked great.
Yeah, but he still needs to paddle.
I got it! Robot! Yes! I knew it! Yes, mechanical paddling robot remote control.
So you're gonna make a robot? Get it, row?
A problem to solve
Ready to hang 10?
and a robot to build. It's a little slice of grand heaven.
Now, one of the most essential things about being able to catch a wave is to get up speed by paddling. And this, if you don't have enough speed, the wave's just going to cross by you. So, I'm going to make some steel arms, which are going to be Buster's arms, and those will be hooked to a motor. And as the wave is coming up, I'll start the motor spinning. That will start the arms of paddling and get Buster's speed up so that hopefully, when the wave hits, they'll be at exactly the right speed and take off.
And while Grant finishes the motor to power the paddles, he's drafting Cary for some help.
What we're going to do is trace out an arm profile and then cut it out of steel.
So you wanted to use my arms because they're big and muscular? Is that what you bring me over for?
No, you're going to trace my arms because they're paddly.
But mine have more length, so you could, But faster. Yeah.
Sorry, the piece of steel I bought will fit my arm.
Okay, so do you want me to put a muscle on it? I'll get a pen.
With Carrie on arm duty, the guys soon whip the bot into shape, including a remote control rudder, AB foam legs, and torso, modeled, of course, on Grant.
Ta-da!
And a quick paint job.
Okay, so the remote-controlled surfing robot is finally done. It consists of a 10-foot foam board with a paddling mechanism. It has a swivel, just like your real body would move as you paddle out. All the electronics are encased in a waterproof enclosure. It has a 12-volt battery. For minor adjustments, there's also a rudder on the back. And the wave's over here. Perfect. Now start paddling, dude. Paddle. Okay. It's good to go. I'm ready to hit the waves.
So we have our surfer, Frank's bringing the explosives, and our researchers found us a lake.
Yeah, it's an Angels camp, and it's a quarry lake, so there's nothing to be killed by the explosion.
So no fish in a barrel type lethal shockwave of death.
Yeah, well, let's get up there and start making waves.
So this beautiful quarry lake is the location for the final experiment.
How's he gonna hang 10? He got no feet.
And the first order of business is a test run with the surfing robot.
I am feeling a little nervous at this point because none of us are going to be allowed to surf. This is our only option for testing the myths.
You look nervous.
Yes, I'm a little nervous. Now, that having been said, I'm hoping that Robo-Grant has been imbued with the natural surfing talent that real Grant has.
Well, it didn't flip over.
Yep, it looks like Grant has imbued Robo-Grant with all of his surfing powers.
All right, let me
awesome.
turn him.
Nice.
Thank you. Thanks.
Grant switches the paddle action from freestyle to butterfly.
Oh, yeah, he is faster, though.
Surf's up, dude.
So Robo-Grant's good to go.
Yeah, spank that water.
But Carrie's concerned about our evil genius's motives.
Does anybody find it creepy how many Grant robots have been on the show? Is it just me, or is he trying to, like, clone himself and make a little army?
I like it. I think we're keeping it.
The crucial thing about an adage is the kernel of truth it's based on has become accepted over time. But MythBusters don't accept the truth, they test it. And to test the truth of the adage to go down like a lead balloon, they're building one.
Who's done this before? Nobody! I don't know. What do you think the plan should be for going full scale?
I'm not really in love with that burrito shape. I mean, it kind of started to work, but it doesn't look like a balloon, and I think it won't handle the stresses once we get much larger.
You're right. And both of these require so much manipulation of the foil. I mean, the one thing we learned from the lead foil is it's way too delicate to make a shape like this.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way of just building it in place and not touching it, just inflating it from there.
I've got an idea that may work. It involves laying the material out piece by piece and taping it as it goes down so we only move it once. And then hopefully, when we inflate it, it would unfold. It would be just one of the simplest platonic solids.
So it'll open like a flower.
Exactly. Let me try and work that out.
And so our Swami of origami goes to work.
The biggest problem that the lead is giving us is that it's delicate, and we can't go lifting up huge sheets of it to tape these complicated seams. We have to build our three-dimensional shape flat and then inflate it. Use the spread distributed load of the helium to bring this thing out into 3 dimensions. We can't move the lead around too much, so I'm going to try and design a way to make a cube so that we lay it out panel by panel flat, and then we can inflate it. It works. All right. There it is. That's the deal.
With the design and construction map worked out, Adam crunches the all-important numbers.
Roughly 11 kilograms.
He's planning to use 640 square feet of lead, which weighs 11 kilos, or 24 pounds. But will the helium inside that cube have enough lift?
In its cubular form, this thing's going to have 30 kilograms, roughly 70 pounds of lift. That's far more than the lead that makes it up is going to weigh. In fact, we'll have so much buoyancy out of this that in order to get it fully inflated, I think we're going to have to add some air. We're going to have to thin out our helium. That's great. We're way in the green on this.
So it's full scale ahead. But the idiosyncrasies of the material mean Jamie's having to go to extraordinary lengths.
This lead balloon is going to be so big that we've got to make special rigs just to get over top of these panels while we're assembling them. We can't obviously just crawl all over it because the lead is so delicate we'll puncture it in that process. Therefore, I'm making a big swinging boom arm that we can put on a forklift to put one of us out on the boom. We'll be on a sort of a car that will have a basket that we'll be in so our arms can hang down right over top of what we're working on.
Dude, this is elegant and simple.
Yeah. what we would always want on MythBusters.
Gonna make a lead balloon! Adam and Jamie have arrived at the Alameda Naval Base.
We've chosen this because we got plenty of room to fly, we got no wind, we got a nice flat surface to build on.
And today we're making our lead balloon.
Or at least that's the plan, because the myth states that it's impossible. A challenge Adam and Jamie seem to be taking personally.
This whole build depends on how carefully we do this. Success or failure depends on all the little details, like a smooth floor. Why is that piece of tape there? If we have dirt on this floor and we've gone through and we've swept it like several times, we're scraping any little bits of tape or anything we can get off of it. It has to be pristine. We're going to lay down paper. We're going to be wearing booties when we're working around this. This is going to be like a medical procedure. Okay, everybody, this is no walk zone.
With military-like precision, Jamie directs preparation of the assembly area, ready for Adam's origami design.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
It's basically going to be a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot cube of lead.
So, 10 foot.
Our construction plan is pretty simple. Jamie will be assembling squares while I'm assembling a regular balloon. And here's the plan I worked out in the shop. It's 12 steps, 12 pieces of lead. Each square gets assembled over on the assembly square and then put together on the home square.
With rubber gloves to protect against what is, after all, a poisonous material, the guys begin building the ambitious 12-step plan. Adam is putting the actual cube together on the home square, while Jamie production lines the larger pieces from the 15-inch rolls.
I've got the first side completed, and oddly enough, it's the bottom. It's about 100 square feet of lead. It used up 2 rolls. Jamie's working on the second sheet, which actually will get cut into triangles to start our actual origami assembly process.